With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Is Wednesday, 6 p.m. Look at me, man. I'm all messed up. 6 p.m. I am Sean Stanley. He is the great Frankie Fresco. We are the Squared Circle Digest. How we doing tonight, Frankie?
I'm doing great, man. Blessed to be here. Blessed to be with you. And blessed to be with everybody in the chat. Hopefully they come in. I know we're a little bit early today. So.
Yeah, we're a little early today and normal. So we'll see how this rolls out. But again, our normal time, Tuesday, 8 p.m. But again, things come up. So we do adjustments.
I will say this. Welcome to the team, CM Punk. He will be now part of the show. So he will be chilling throughout the WWE segments and the AEW segments and the top 5 segments because he is part of the crew in the meantime while he tries to find a job.
There we go. I'll bring in Roman then. There's my Roman.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
There we go.
I like it.
There we go. So we got Roman in there too because he's the greatest of the great. All right, man, there's so much to talk about. And
we're so behind.
There was WWE NXT No Mercy this weekend. And of course, there was AEW Wrestle Dream. Not much happened in either one of them. I mean, no news to report there. So we'll just have to figure out something to be able to talk about.
I know, right?
I mean, I'm on the edge of my seat, but I mean, I don't know what the heck's going to happen for the next 2 hours as we sit here and talk some AEW, WWE, getting you leading up to AEW Dynamite and the 4th year anniversary of AEW Dynamite. I didn't realize that until Tony Khan tweeted it out today, and I was like, hey, I'm jumping all over it. It's 4 years. And I do have a PSA, by the way.
Congrats to AEW. 4 years going strong.
Yes. quit sending out the pictures of half-filled stadiums, of half-filled arenas, whether it's AEW, whether it's WWE. That's been going on through the whole hours of the Sandglass, okay? I had fun with it for a little bit, but now it's just like every show, it's like, oh, look at this. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Enjoy what the hell we have going on, people. I mean, what does it matter? And to top it all off, half the time they're taking pictures during dark matches when heaven forbid, the stadium's not full to watch a dark match. It's an hour before the show starts. I mean, it's getting ridiculous, man. Sit back and enjoy this time in pro wrestling that we have right now before it's gone. I mean, dude, just enjoy it. Whether you like AEW, you're only WWE, you like both. Enjoy what you're being able to see, man.
Yeah.
In women, whatever, whoever it is. Oh, I just took out Roman.
He's no CM Punk, sir. Just
acknowledge me, buddy. Acknowledge me. But I had to get that off my back because I saw it again today. They were at it was an NXT, and it was the pre-show, of course. And of course, again, if you go to even a WWE Raw, half the time the section that the hard camera's in is empty. AEW does the same thing. Every show that goes on live has seat fillers and has people to move around to make sure that the stadium on air looks full. What does it matter if the stadium behind the ring that nobody's seeing except for the 3,000 people that are there are the only people that know that that's there? Just, to me, it's just dumb, man. It's petty. There's enough stuff we can go back and forth and talk about in wrestling than, oh, AEW does this. Well, guess what? WWE does the same thing, and WCW did it before them, and companies have been doing it forever. Welcome to pro wrestling. We already got chat going. Terry, what's up, Sean and Frankie?
What's up, guys?
What's up, gang? And Joe Romano, sup, fellas? So we're going to be in it. The top 5, no debating list today is top 5 WWE opponents for Jade Cargill. So that's what we're going to go with. Top 5 opponents for Jade Cargill as she enters WWE.
Yep, that
and
should
we're
be good.
Discuss that as well as a whole lot more. Frankie, where do we want to start, man?
I don't know. Do you want to go? I mean, I have so much to talk about AEW.
To be honest, let's just jump around today. Let's start with the number one thing that's on everybody's mind. And that, of course, is
CM Punk?
Yes, CM Punk. Is he going to WWE?
There he is, guys.
There he is, right there.
All the late.
He's not going to WWE, people. He's on the Squared Circle Digest. He is 3 letters, but it's SCD.
SCD Live. Don't forget to hashtag SCD Live. So if you can, guys, go on Twitter or X and just post SCD Live. That way more people can now start, checking us out.
We're going to try to get a little bit more into a lot. You're going to see some changes going on. You'll see one here today. And we're going to try to get this going and rolling a little bit more and make it more interactive as well as just fun, more easier for the fans and fan interaction. I mean, we try to go with everything. And please, Daniel Marquez, what's up, buddy? My dad's in finally. Thank you, bud, Dad. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Father.
But so again, we want you guys to jump in, talk as we're going through the topics. Throw them up there, and we'll get to them. So
I just want to go ahead and say that we are not frauds like the Miami Dolphins, per Big O. So he keeps saying that the Dolphins are frauds. We are not frauds.
Nope.
Unfortunately, I had some stuff going on yesterday, and kind of like it happened last minute, and I have forgot to tell Sean, and I told Sean.
No. I'm going to peel the curtain back even further. He had told me the week before. I forgot, and then I remembered about an hour before we were supposed to go live. Is what happened. And then I tweeted out that, hey, we'll be on tomorrow because I had messed up. Frankie had told me I messed it up. Well, I take accountability, buddy. I'm not Mike McDaniel sitting here with this couch psychology BS.
I will say this, guys. I will say this. If I would have been able to make it, I definitely would have done it. I saw Sean was calling me, and I was like, Sean, I'm busy right now. I can't. We talked about this.
That's when I realized, like, oh, the event was this week.
Yeah.
I called you back and
So
forth. Yeah.
let's
SoCal Derek, what's up, buddy?
let's not sugarcoat it. Let's not sugar. I was DJing. So last night I was DJing and I had an event, and that's the reason why. So Sean was like text messaging me or sending me messages, and I was DJing at the time. And luckily I saw like it light up on my phone, and I was like, "Holy crap! I think it's Sean." And then I looked at it, and then I had like missed text messages. I had some other phone calls, like my brother
I had totally
was calling.
forgotten. At that point, I realized like, oh, that was this week. So boom,
yeah.
we pushed it back to the day. We called an audible. We did Omaha. Oh, I could go for an Omaha steak right now. Oh God.
And guys, like Sean did say, we are working on some new rinks on the show. So today, hopefully it goes well. You'll see something new. I hope you guys like it. I took some time doing it. So and I know Sean is going to be doing on some other stuff as well to try to help this, try to make it better for you guys, and try and you guys give us feedback if you think it's better, if it looks better, or if it isn't that good, then let us know. That way, we could always do some changes to the program.
Yeah, we have no problem. This is your show as much as it is our show. So we enjoy doing it. We enjoy talking it, but we can't do anything without you guys and gals that are listening to the show. So SoCal Derek, just throw it out there. He just comes in and just putting a foot through the bar. What do you think about all these rumors of Punk going to WWE again?
I honestly feel he is gonna come. And you know what? The rumor was that he's gonna be coming into NXT. So by him coming to NXT, it makes perfect sense why they're bringing all these big mainstream stars over to NXT.
Listen, Linda. Hold on a minute. Do you know why? What started this, by the way?
Well, okay. Originally, what started the NXT like up and at it, like the viewership and everything. Oh, it's my boy Dom. That's the reason why.
No. I mean, do you understand what WWE was doing with what they're trying to do with NXT? They're trying to show that it's a brand that can make money. Because here's the problem:
they're trying to show that they want CM Punk on the show. That's why they're doing it.
Exactly. Yes, it's all about CM Punk. They've been doing it all about CM Punk. So WWE only exists to get a pipe bomb back. Okay, that's it. That's all they want. No, but so what is going to happen is this: they're trying to show that they can get ratings with NXT because, again, what happened just recently? SmackDown has been signed starting next year to go to NBC Universal USA Network. Well, guess what's going to happen? Raw and NXT are now off of USA Network. So now they are working on those networking deals. So now that they're boosting up, and last night's NXT did an 825.
Thank you.
So now that they're boosting those up, originally it started out, I believe, as look what we can do for your network. Look what we can do, bring us in. You got NXT and Raw, probably a package deal, one on whatever night, because there's been talk that they might move the nights of Raw or whatever, and they're open to it, supposedly. We'll see. But now I think they saw an opportunity with what's happening next Tuesday, which is a scheduling conflict for TBS and Dynamite because of the playoffs in Major League Baseball. AEW has to switch their show to Tuesday night. And then last night, anybody that watched NXT saw first get announced that it would be Asuka against Roxanne. That was the first big kind of domino that fell. Then it was, I can't remember if it was the John Cena in Carmelo's corner or the announcement from Cody Rhodes. Those two got dropped kind of right behind each other. And then to end the show, Paul Heyman says he received word that he is allowed to second Braun Breaker, courtesy of Roman Reigns, to be at NXT as well. So now you've got Asuka, Cena, Cody Rhodes, Paul Heyman, all on NXT next week.
I think the biggest thing is Cody Rhodes being in NXT. And I guess Asuka is okay, but Becky's there. So that's why it kind of like, But I think Cody and John Cena, that's big, man. Bringing them to NXT. I want to actually drive up to NXT and go watch that show.
That's the one thing. I think what they're trying, again, next week, I think kind of they were just like, you know what? If they're moving their show there, we're going to, and again, we'll dive into the other stuff too, because AEW's got a big show planned for it's like Tuesday night title night or something. I forgot how they named it for their show too. So again, NXT's got to go big. Got to go big. And they've always said, and the one thing that's always stuck out to me is Triple H and Nick Khan have always wanted NXT to be its own brand. They've done everything that they can to try to make it its own brand. The problem's always been, and the problem that's still there, is Vince McMahon sees it as a training ground, and that's how he treats it. And unfortunately, when you treat it like that, then everybody else starts treating it like that. If you treat it like a brand, because when it was Black and Gold and it was Adam Cole and it was Roderick Strong, it was Undisputed Era, it was all those guys for a while, that had some fire. But then Vince got it and was like, nope, we are going to sit here and we're making that our ground. And then that's when everybody started leaving, because they started pulling up the guys. And again, Vince doesn't like small guys. If you can't tell that Vince isn't running things, the main event on Raw on Monday was basically to set up Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano to join forces together. That was the ultimate ending of that two smaller guys that you can tell right now. Vince does not have his hand on the pulse and creative right now.
Is that
doing everything they can to try to get everything pushed in a 5-pound bag before Vince comes back and punctures the hole?
Is that why rumors are now starting to swirl that Mr. Ricky Starks might be leaving AEW and signing with WWE? Is that the reason why?
Probably.
Because if Ricky leaves AEW to go to WWE, Vince is not calling the shots because Ricky's a small dude.
Yeah, no, he is. But again, it goes back to, man, I don't want to jump around too much, but can we jump into your it's the one that you had
Let's jump. See, look, if we're gonna jump to the AEW, I gotta talk a little bit about what happened at Grand Slam.
Well, no, I wanted to go because you're talking about Ricky Starks coming to WWE. There's more to it than the wrestling aspect, because you also alluded to it in your Jade Cargill on your thing here. She was offered more money than what she requested from Tony Khan. Tony Khan, I guess my understanding is Tony Khan was like, okay. And then she still said, no, I'm leaving. Here's the reason, though. Go ahead. Go.
I will say this. There's a bigger opportunity and a bigger platform with WWE. So if I'm a wrestler, and I think we had this conversation a while back, where would you prefer to wrestle? And you went WWE all the way, and I think I went AEW.
Yeah. But it's not just wrestling. That's the thing that, again, Jade Cargill has it.
Of course. And not only that,
Ricky Starks has it.
Your brand grows.
Yeah, but no, that not only that, but they have networking to get you more than just wrestling. And I'm not saying Tony Khan doesn't, but you know John Cena, The Rock, The Miz, Randy Orton. I mean, you go down the list of and others have been in other movies that might not have been big roles. And I'm not saying all these movies are hits, by the way, either. So don't get me that going there with the Marine and all them stuff. But
yeah,
the opportunity is there. There's more to building that brand. I mean, think about this. Jade Cargill, they filmed her walking into the PC. I think the other day it was up over 27 million people have viewed it already.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just like, what?
And the crazy thing about Jade Cargill is people are invested in her, man. And they know who she is because there's a lot of fans that actually are now tuning into the AEW side. And then they're like, oh my God, this girl comes from AEW. Let me take a look at what she did over there. And you could just glance and see what she did over there. And then all of a sudden you're like, wow, what kind of matchups are we going to have in WWE for her? Like, it's going to be really fun. And let's not sugarcoat it, man. You got Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes was another big factor as to why she left.
Yeah, no, she's in deep with Cody and Brandy, and so is Ricky, by the way.
Exactly. So, is Cody betraying AEW by trying to get?
No!
Of course, he's betraying AEW. Not just playing. No,
I was going to say, what the hell are you talking about?
He's
AEW, if anything, AEW betrayed him by letting him walk away.
And I will tell you this: Cody Rhodes is looking out for them. He's looking out for the wrestler. He's not looking out for the brand
that he's on. He's looking out for his brand.
And not only that, but he's looking out for the wrestler.
And he's looking out for Jade Cargill. He's looking out for Ricky Starks. Because, look, man, I'm not saying but the WWE platform, the WWE universe is bigger than the AEW universe.
Yeah.
And I don't mean I don't mean fans and all that stuff. I'm talking about music. I'm talking about, TV. I'm talking about movies, anything, specials.
Legacy.
When you go every award show, I think I've seen Bianca and Montez Ford on every red carpet. Seth and Becky on every red carpet.
Yeah.
You think you're not going to see Jade Cargill doing the same thing? I honestly believe, Vince, there's probably 3 women that are on the roster right now, and maybe more because I don't know everybody in NXT yet that's still being trained. But if you put Raquel Rodriguez, Rhea Ripley, and then Jade Cargill together, I think those 3 are what Vince McMahon is looking for in the female athlete to take WWE up into the future.
And Jade Cargill is huge. She is up there in strength. She has the look. She looks like Storm. And I think that's why he also was like, yo, this girl can sell seats, can sell WWE.
And she can talk.
But hold on a second. You were criticizing and saying that
she was green. She's still green. I don't know. Again, this is the part where WWE, though, will not let her go out there. WWE is going to feed her like Natalya.
Yes.
And things like that, which actually apparently she's going to be at Fastlane. It's already been supposedly being reported. She's going to be involved in Fastlane somehow. I don't know what.
I heard that she was going to be in the actual audience, and then she was going to make her debut on Monday night. That's what I heard.
Okay, maybe that's what's going on. I'll tell you now, all I did was I looked at it and I was like, yeah, we'll see there. But I believe it's going to be something more along those lines. They're going to feed her the Natalya's, the thing right now, just to get her. Again, she's going straight to the main roster. So she's going to have to learn on the fly. There's going to be mistakes because it's about rest. You saw it the other night on Monday night. Rhea Ripley went to do her finish on one of the security guards, realized she wasn't at the hard cam and had to physically pick the guy up and turn him in the air to make sure she did the slam on the hard camera. Those are things that, Jade Cargill's going to have to learn on the fly. That's what they teach you at NXT. A lot of people are like, why would anybody go to NXT that's already been on TV? Because you have to learn the WWE way of TV. You're wrestling for a red light. They've got red lights on the thing. So if you're doing moves, you have to know where the red light is so that your move finishes with you looking at the camera, whether it's a hard camera, it's the camera on the side, all that stuff. That stuff Jade's going to have to learn. And again, that's why I think, and I'm not going to say it's going to be Natalya, but I think she's going to be working a lot with Natalya, maybe not on screen, but I guarantee you off screen, she's probably already been working with them.
Oh, yeah.
A lot, a ton.
And then since we're talking about these moves going from AEW over to WWE, what about what Karun just mentioned? Hey, Mr. Edge, Mr. Adam Copeland finally making his AEW debut this past weekend. I was so happy. I've been calling it. I said AEW needed to sign him, and they did. They did him right, and they did right for the fans. You have the rated R superstar in AEW. How exciting is that, man? I'm happy.
I think it's great for the fans. I want to see what they do. It's great to watch them run through the smoke. It's great to hear, you think you know them and all that stuff. But again, that's the same thing that happened with CM Punk, right? The first 3 shows, everybody's like that, and then it started slowly going down. You know what I'm saying? I honestly feel like, man, I feel they're wasting it, though, man. I love that the fact that I get it. He wants to work with Christian or whatever, and all this stuff. But
Darby Sting.
To me, it's like, hey, Edge is in AEW, yes, and his first opponent is.
We don't know yet.
Source.
Well, but yeah, technically, yeah, but you know that.
It's like, bro, like.
But we know that that's not his main. They're gonna do the same thing that they did with CM Punk, which is they're gonna feed him up and coming guys or guys that he obviously is gonna beat, and then the bigger name or the guys that they really want to push, they'll put them in the pay-per-views. That's what they're gonna do, which makes sense.
That, but it in a way, yes. And again, fans win either way because you can get to see Adam Copeland wrestling against different people now and things like that. So fans are gonna win regardless.
Correct.
But at what point, and again, you can tell that that he's happy, and again, he said, I think it was between, he was probably either going to be retired or he was going to go to wrestle for AEW. And I think
all right,
he's happy there, but
I'm just, if you see me like shrugging my head, is because you saw who just walked in the comments. And
I did.
I'm upset, but look,
I see him.
He's here. So Mr. CM Punk is not dead. He's well alive on this show, sir, whoever you are. Anyways, keep going. My bad.
And I forgot where I was at.
Well, I will say this. When it comes to the Rated R Superstar, did you watch the media scrum afterwards?
Yes.
Okay, so they asked him a couple things. Correct. It's on YouTube. They had 28,000 people watching that. Did you watch it from the beginning?
No, I can't. I watched it the next day. I'm not going to stay.
Okay.
It was late, life, bro. I got a life. I can't be up there. I mean, talking in the morning watching that stuff. Man.
Wrestle Dream was like thousands of fights. It's like that. I don't know why they keep doing that, but whatever. I will say this: they did ask him about Beth Phoenix, and he did mention that Beth Phoenix, is his wife, and he's happy to have her as part in the industry and everything. And you never know. She might come. She might not. But at this time,
her contract with WWE is up.
At this time, it's not. They asked him about, hey, would you be willing to train or have kind of an influence to the rest of the wrestlers? And he was very open to say that he is there for them. But there was nothing. But exactly. And there was nothing concrete saying that he was going to go ahead and kind of take the CM Punk role when it came to Collision, where, hey, I'm going to run Collision. He never had said any of that stuff. He also mentioned that he was happy.
He's smarter than CM Punk does have an ego to him to where he thinks he was going to resurrect AEW and make it better than WWE. I honestly think CM Punk thought that him going in there, they were going to start beating Raw and getting numbers like that. That's CM Punk, I believe. That's his ego. Adam Copeland is not that person. Adam Copeland is there for the business end of it, and to, uplift the ones that are there.
I think I agree with you half. Because of the roster split, I honestly feel that CM Punk wanted Collision to be more successful than Dynamite.
Oh no, I mean, yeah, at that point, yes. But the reason I think all of this started was because probably some people called him on his BS that he was going to be the god of AEW. Speaking of the EVPs,
he was the god of AEW.
Okay, well, the god only got you the same numbers you were getting before the god got there.
No, when he got there, they were breaking 1 million. Not all the time.
For the first 2 or 3 weeks, yes, and then it dropped.
You gotta, because of the whole situation with all this.
Oh yes, I know.
BS.
All right. Before we get off topic here and we start talking CM Dump,
please
let's relax.
But yes, so now the Rated R Superstar. Yep. You got. And
by the way, I will say this: kudos to the WWE.
For what? For letting him go?
They could have been jackasses and they could have trademarked Rated R Superstar once they knew he was leaving. They did not. They let it lapse and they let it go so he can keep that. Of course, they're going to keep Edge because they still have tons and tons of merchandise that is Edge. That's not going to be released. But they could have been jackasses and at the last minute been like, hey, we're picking back up the trademark.
Well, that goes to show you.
And they let him go because, again, like everybody, look, it was just time. It was time. And again, if he would have went back to them, they would have probably happily accepted him back. He didn't, and he went over there. I'm not saying that they're happy he left, but they're wishing him the best. Now, at the same time, they are not. Oh no, Karun. But the one thing on the music side is they would not. WWE does not really license a lot of the stuff out unless it's a pay-per-view, and then most of the stuff is created in-house in WWE.
Correct.
So the what's it, the Metalingus, or what's the name of the song?
Like
Metalingus or something.
Yeah.
That again, they could have been. Yes, you are. I guess in a way you're right though. They could have just been jabbing like, hey, everything Edge related, trademark it now, so they can't use any of it.
But remember, he spoke about that in the media scrum. He said that the music, his song selection was something that he actually reached out to that group and they did it for him. So if they were going to trademark it, I'm pretty sure that group would have gone ahead and say, Edge, do you want us to allow WWE to trademark it? And Edge would have said, no.
What they would have said was, WWE, how much are you giving us? Well, Tony, you're going to have to give us this. Okay, we'll go with Tony.
Good point.
That's what would have happened. It would have been done in the bidding war.
I will say
AEW probably would have gotten it, but they would have gotten the money raised up.
I will say this though. My concern, remember we spoke about this. I was concerned that AEW might be losing a little bit of their mojo. Maybe their revenue is not doing so well because they allowed Jade Cargill to go. But then when we found out that she actually was offered more than what I guess WWE was offering her, then it kind of made sense and said, okay, you know what? Maybe AEW is doing a good job revenue wise. It's not so bad.
The whole thing with the revenue thing, and a lot of people look at attendance and all this stuff, is like, oh, the AEW must not be doing good. They didn't give two craps about that. It's about the TV rights. It's about the pay-per-view. You know, all that stuff figures in. If Warner Brothers is happy with them and are giving them all these deals, that's all they need. These shows, that's just extra money. That is a lot of extra money that's coming in, however you want to look at it.
Well, I will say this. I think the other reason why WWE, and I know we're jumping up all over the place, but there's so much to talk about. Yeah. I think the reason WWE is also taking the opportunity to go ahead and go up against AEW next week on October the 10th is because, like you said, they might move Raw or NXT. So who's not to say that they might put it on a Wednesday, and then they're gonna go up one-on-one moving forward with AEW. Yeah. So this is kind of a way for them to showcase and say, hey, we could draw more fans on NXT, even though AEW is on, and then you could sell that to whatever market, whatever broadcasting, ESPN, because you saw ESPN is always trying to get they always have Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins.
And one of these as far as like a weekly, like I don't know. I again never say never. It's right.
They should.
I'm not saying they should, but then when they have like Mac starts this week. Those games are on Wednesday. The Mac games are Tuesday and Wednesday. Yeah, tonight starts the first Mac game, and then they go Tuesday and Wednesday. They have a deal with them. For how long it is, I don't know.
On ESPN Plus, though, you could stick
on ESPN the Mac games.
Okay, well you could put NXT on ESPN too.
Yeah, but I mean, again,
people will tune in.
The thing that was funny to me was when I think it was Brandon Thurston from WrestleNomics did a thing, and he did TNT, TBS, and USA. Took the three networks that the wrestling's on right now. USA's in 71 million homes. Ooh. TBS is in 72 million homes. Okay. TNT is in 70.5 million homes. So all three of them are pretty much on the same, sphere. And of course, when you get to Fox, and that's in almost every home, but that's here nor there. But again, I think ultimately it started that way. That's why they started putting Dom on there. That's why they started putting, Becky on there, to put names on there to start getting eyes to NXT. Because again, as I said earlier, Triple H and Nick Khan has always wanted that to be a brand. They thought that could be a third brand. Raw, SmackDown, NXT. Yeah. They always thought it could be now, is it going to be a brand as big as Raw and SmackDown? No. But they thought, again, you throw in some names, you throw in some young talent to start getting viewed, you throw them around right now they do the Citrus Loop, which is, Port St. Lucie. Then they go to like Daytona. They're all around Florida right now. But if you kept them regionally so that you're not having to pay a lot to travel, you're doing Georgia, what is it? Alabama, Georgia, Florida, North Carolina,
Louisiana.
South Carolina area, kind of like the old Mid-Atlantic area, NWA area, those areas with the NXT guys. And then every once in a while, of course, WWE comes in and you see the big names. You see the Roman Reigns, the John Cena's, the, once or twice a year, you'll see them depending on where you're at. So
correct.
It's about the money. Because again, that's where they make their money. It's the viewing rights. The live audiences are great, but it is what it is. I mean, they don't expect, their plan is not to sell out every arena. They understand that's not going to happen.
Well, I will say this. I'll say this. I'm excited for both brands. Obviously, WWE is making it a huge effort to push NXT. I'm tuning in more often. I'm not going to lie to you. I even tuned into No Mercy, and just because of Dom and because of Becky Lynch. And hands down, that fight between Becky and Tiffany was a great match. It was really good. So if you guys didn't catch it, and if you still have Peacock, and you go back and watch it, that was probably the best fight of the night. I will say this. I'm happy on the AEW side. They're still, throwing punches by signing, Adam Copeland. You imagine the fights they can make with him. Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, Sting. We've never seen him with Sting at all. And then he did speak about that. And then obviously the opportunity for him to go and work in New Japan Wrestling. So much possibility, so many doors for him. And that's why I felt like he left as well, because his door was kind of closing in WWE. They weren't pushing him as much. And I think in AEW they're going to push him, and they're going to make.
I think they push him in WWE too. The problem is this.
No, they kind of put him in a back burner. Remember what he had said? He had gone ahead on record, on paper, saying, "Yo, I want to retire, winning the WWE Championship," and there was no way in hell WWE was going to allow him to do that. They let him go.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, he made the decision to go. They let the contracts expire. They couldn't.
But do you really think they were going to give Edge another champioship belt? I don't think so. Like worst case, they would have given him the IC or the USA
belt. There's no reason in WWE environment that is there right now in WWE for Edge to win a title. For what?
You put Seth against Edge. Of course, you could have given Edge the title. And he could have carried it for a while.
Seth and Edge go at it for a while.
Yeah, but we all know that you have that last hurrah. Everybody's going to tune in. Everybody wants to see Edge. It's like when Dwayne Wade was on his retirement.
But do you hit the momentum off of what Seth is doing just to give Edge his last hurrah?
What momentum? He's fighting against Shinsuke at Fastlane. That is boring. I actually find that section
for 3
boring.
minutes. He has to stop it. And ultimately, I believe that's who CM Punk is coming in to face.
Who, Seth?
Yeah.
Well, if that happens,
because did you notice on Raw what happened?
No. What happened at Raw?
Because I missed it, and then I saw it, and I went back.
I saw some of it.
Well, no, because Michael Cole used the same word CM Punk used in an ROH interview when they were feuding, him and Tyler Black in ROH.
What did
on
he say?
Seth in Raw at Raw.
What did he say?
Hold on a minute.
If you have it. I was watching some of it, but I'm going to be real honest with you. That segment between Seth and Shinsuke, I kind of fast forwarded because I was like, I don't want to hear this. To be honest with you, I'm not too thrilled and excited about that Seth and Shinsuke feud. I think it's boring. And that's one of the reasons why, I kind of fast forwarded. So I didn't even catch what they said. I just fast forwarded until Shinsuke came and like he hit Seth from behind. And then I was like, okay, this is probably going to be done. Now, if it was LA Knight, it'll be a different story. And that's why I think they hit the mark that SmackDown with LA Knight and John Cena. And I was so happy to see that they're again pushing LA Knight. And I hope LA Knight wins with John Cena. And then you might put LA Knight to have kind of like a beef with with John Cena. And then that would be good. Like they still win, but there's some like tension between the both of them, and then it kind of spices it up, and then John Cena faces LA Knight at Survivor Series. I think that would work.
Yeah, but I don't know if you want to do it that quickly because LA Knight, he's got the fans behind him right now, man. Do you turn him heel for that?
Turn him heel? They're gonna turn heel on John Cena. LA Knight is legit. Screw that. I'll make John Cena
Cena's
heel.
not turning heel, man.
Gotta
So it
make
says
Cena.
when Michael Cole said that he had coined some Ron's nicknames, he took credit for calling him a manipulator and the puppet master. It was quickly pointed out that the puppet and manipulator labels were a direct reference to CM Punk's first ever pipe bomb in Ring of Honor in 2005.
Wow. I mean, again, he could have just used it just to create controversy and spice things up. So, but I honestly do feel that WWE is gonna go after CM Punk, and I honestly feel CM Punk is gonna sign. And the moment he signs, remember,
the thing is, I don't think he signs long term. That's the thing. I think they bring him in and they're like, "Look, we're going to sign you for this time. This is what we have planned. We'll see how it goes. If it rolls good and everybody's happy, then we'll keep it going. If not, then we'll do our time. We'll bid adieu and we'll go on our ways, man. Because I just can't see them signing him to a long-term deal with how explosive it is. I mean, it's like you already dealt with this. You have dealt with this guy,
Vince,
in the locker room.
Vince dealt with this. It's not Triple H who's kind of calling the shots. And I think Triple H and him have a better relationship. And that's the reason why I honestly feel that it would work out. I honestly feel that they would give him a 3-year deal. Keep him for 3 years. And then after the 3rd year, you kind of analyze and see if it still makes sense to keep him. I honestly feel that he should come back at Royal Rumble, man. He doesn't have to win the Royal Rumble, but at least come back to Royal Rumble or come to WrestleMania. It's one of the two. You got to bring him in one of those big shows. You can't bring him for Fastlane or something like that.
No, I'm not saying that either. I'm saying, I mean, if you bring him in Fastlane, then you have him attack Seth Rollins and build up to Survivor Series or so. I mean, you're building to a big 4 of the pay-per-views.
Can you imagine that, man? Like, there's so much firepower right now with the AEW side signing Adam Copeland, and then WWE counters and signs CM Punk. Wow, that would be rough for AEW, but great for all the fans.
It's again, and this is where I find it funny because everybody's now on everybody's like, oh, well, if WWE doesn't see them as competition, why are they building up their Tuesday night programming? Well, why would you not, regardless if they're competition or not? Are they competition ratings wise? No, but they're always going to be competition because they're a wrestling company. So there's always going to be competition there. I just think people need to stop the competition thing because, look, for everything I think AEW is doing good, they still haven't, toppled that until they're getting 1.0s consistently. That's not competition. If you're fighting with NXT, if that's your competition, that just doesn't make sense to me, man. You're fighting a proven ground. That's like, Impact on the level you're Raw and SmackDown. When you're getting up in that, and again, and I hate using the word competition because I don't think it's the competition's not there. I think AEW is doing their thing. Can there be better things done with it? Of course. WWE is doing their thing. Can there be things better on it? Of course. But to sit there and say that it's a competition, it's not a fair fight right now.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It ain't a fair fight, but that NXT show and that Dynamite show, that's going to be big. And then you never know with Collision. If Collision becomes really big, I wouldn't be surprised if WWE tries to move Raw to a Saturday if they see that Collision is having some type of success on Saturdays.
Did you see what Collision's numbers were this week?
Yeah, they felt pretty bad.
There's just too much going on. And I mean, I get it. Everybody says, oh, but I mean, there's just too much going on Saturdays. And there's other stuff to do than to sit at your TV till 8:00 at night to watch wrestling. You know what I mean? Like, what do you, most time, if families want to go out, what time do they go out to eat dinner? 6:30? What time are you getting home? Maybe 8:30? So you already missed a little bit of it.
I know, and the late bloomers who I usually go around 8.
No, yeah. I mean,
that's when the show starts.
it's tough when you look at what's going on there. All right, let's dive into more of the stuff. Let's see what we got here. Daniel said that's where they dropped the ball. He should have had a run, never lost the belt before the injury. Yeah, but I mean, you can't. I don't disagree that maybe he could have done, but I just think right now with the environment, the way it is in WWE, I don't think you could have brought him back in and just plug and played Edge in right now. I just don't think you could have done it. Go ahead. You got something, Frank? I'm sorry.
No. I'm just. It's funny. I'm looking at the chat and it looks like we got a little bit of back and forth. I don't know if you're noticing that, but that's funny. That's the only reason. I kind of like looked at it.
Well, now CM Punk is your daddy, and see him dump. They're kind of going back and forth.
I'm telling you, man, I'm all the way for CM Punk as your daddy because he is our daddy. He is the man. That's why WWE is going to sign him.
Daniel where was that? Karun said, did you guys ever think the pipe bomb segment in 2011, 2012 was real? Like some claim it is when Punk was talking and his mic was turned off. I never believed that. I think it was real sentiments. I think everybody knew his mic was going to get cut off. I think everything else there. I think they let Punk speak kind of his piece. Again, I how real you want to call it. I think he aired a lot of grievances. I think he said a lot of things that a lot of people backstage at that point might have been wanting to say. So in that aspect, I think it was real. But to say that, they didn't know that his mic was going to get cut off and all that, no, I mean, it's all worked out in production, man. But I think it was the first time where, again, WWE has done it a lot. And I'm waiting to see when, Tony Khan might take that approach is you blur the line. The first time they blurred the line, of course, the Attitude Era was all blur. But then it was when Bret Hart left to go to WCW, right? Vince finally got the chance to be that guy because that was what he's portrayed as. And he was like, hey, here's my chance to be Mr. McMahon, the almighty. And then, of course, that was at the same time Stone Cold was coming along. And then, boom, you had lightning striking a bottle. And, boom, now you got McMahon. And, that's another line that was blurred because it was like, okay, I know he's the boss. And then everything else, and you got a guy beating up your boss. And how many people don't want to sit there and punch their boss every once in a while?
Yeah, true.
You know what I'm saying? So then that got blurred. There's just been times to where, and I think WWE, so far hasn't been afraid to cross that line. I don't know where AEW stands on it because sometimes I think Tony's too much of a fan to be a boss.
I agree. There is sometimes Tony's too much of a cheerleader and he doesn't take responsibility like he's supposed to as an owner. Now, I will say this, man, changing a little bit of the topic here. Wrestle Dream. If you didn't watch it, it was a really good pay-per-view. It delivered. It was really, it was fun. It was a good match. I will say there was a couple matches that I wasn't too thrilled about. I was a little bit disappointed with the Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega one. That one kind of bored me a little bit.
Well, the problem is that, you've got 6 guys in that match, and it's like every one of them is known. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like when I looked at that match, I honestly looked at it and I said, who would take the pin in that match? When you're looking at it, again, when I look at the pay-per-views, I kind of, and this is the thing where I think AEW sometimes misses the ball and sometimes is what happens after that pay-per-view match. So when I was looking at it, I was like, what makes sense in that match as far as the person taking the pin, the person getting the pin?
Well, they did the pin. Takeshita pinned Kenny Omega again. So
I know again,
but again, they're trying to make a story out of those two. Eventually, Kenny Omega is gonna go over the hump, but they're doing their best to try to push Takeshita, and then obviously Sammy Guevara is now on the Don Callis team, so they're doing a good job as far as trying to push those two guys because
they're dragging it out a little bit though. They're dragging it out a little bit too much.
They're dragging. You talking about dragging? How about dragging the bloodline? That is dragging on, bro. But
Bro,
Takeshita?
at least with the bloodline, they've added people and taken people away and moved people and done stuff. This has been Takeshita pins Kenny in a 6-man tag. Takeshita pins Kenny by himself. Takeshita pins Kenny in a 6-man tag.
And the bloodline is the same crap over and over as well. It's just
You didn't have Sammy and KO involved in it. You didn't have. You haven't had Jay change. I mean, there's been other. I'm not saying that they probably couldn't have ended it earlier, but at least they've added and taken away in that thing. And this is just Kenny and Takeshita. They really haven't added anybody. Like, I would have rather had Sammy Guevara wrestling Kenny Omega and then Takeshita interfere.
True.
Or something like that. I feel like we've seen this.
We have seen it.
And again, it's wrestling, so we've seen most of it. So don't get me
Don't
get me wrong. It's probably nitpicking on my part, but to me, it's like, okay, when are we going to get the payoff? It's almost like Cody and Brock at this point, to me.
But they just finished adding Sammy.
Takeshita is Brock and Kenny is Cody, and you come out, you kill him, you beat him, you beat him. When's the payoff? After a while, I got to start saying, Kenny, you're just not better than Takeshita.
But you're starting to kind of see that whole Don Callis type of storyline is kind of similar to the Bloodline because they're adding pieces left and right. They're adding Takeshita. They added Sammy.
Yeah, remember, they added them to kind of.
Well, it just started.
Callis is building a family, like
it
started. Then have Sammy Guevara get involved a little bit with, mix it up a little bit. Is all I'm saying.
Hey, he just turned heel. Yes,
but you just had a 6-man tag. You could have had him do something there to kind of get away from Takeshita and Omega, and you didn't. Takeshita didn't have to pin Kenny Omega in that match to continue on anything else.
But you just finished
because the whole thing is Kenny Omega can't beat Takeshita, right? So if somebody else would have gotten pinned, regardless, it wasn't Omega pinning Takeshita, that stays true.
Yeah, but a couple of minutes ago you were saying, who are they going to pin? The most logical sense was Takeshita to pin Kenny Omega.
It was Guevara pinning Jericho.
No, it's too early for that, especially since in Grand Slam they did the whole Shawn Michaels thing with Jericho.
It's a 6-man tag. You just kick them in the den and you do something else.
Well, if you feel that way, so then why are you tripping about Takeshita pinning against Kenny Omega? I know we've seen it plenty of times, but it's a 6-man tag. I could use that same argument. That's the reason why it doesn't matter.
He already beat him in a 6-man tag 3 pay-per-views ago.
But if you
two
just
pay-per-views, actually, I'm sorry,
if
2 pay-per-views ago.
If you're saying that it's not a big deal if Sammy pins Chris Jericho, then it shouldn't matter who gets pinned. The only one that probably wouldn't got him pinned is Ibushi, and the only reason is because obviously he's New Japan and they don't want to mess with that. So it had to be Jericho or Omega. I will say it wasn't the most entertaining fight. The best, I enjoyed the MJF fight. Obviously, the Darby Allin and Christian fight was really good. That was obviously the headliner one. Yeah. So all of that was worth watching. There were some really good fights in general. The Chris Statlander wasn't not a bad fight either. So there was here and there. They hit the mark on certain fights. Obviously MJF was an opener and he did the kangaroo kick, which you know me, I'm a big kangaroo kick fan. And then I love the fact that he does the Ultimate Warrior where he grabs the rope and he like shakes it up and down. So that's pretty cool. I like that from MJF. Some people were criticizing him because in the media scrum he was saying, yo, people are saying that you're a joke. And remember what I told you. Sometimes I was telling you, hey man,
he's a gimmick.
Yeah, he's a gimmick. And remember what I told you. Remember what I had an issue with at the beginning, which was him dancing. And I told him,
I loved his answer. He strapped right back at it and was like, look, there's lots of flavors of ice cream. If I'm not for you, we've got one for you. That's what wrestling is about. That's the problem I had with Vince for a while is that you have all these guys that look the same. You're not giving me any different flavors. You're giving me the flavor. I went to the ice cream shop and you're telling me you're eating vanilla. You're getting chocolate. Here's a swirl. You're going to get what I want to give you, and you're going to like it. Why? Because he had what else? If you liked wrestling, what else were you going to do? Yeah, you could get Fight TV. You could watch New Japan and everything else like that. But if you want to go local, now at least you've got a lot more independents out there now that actually are worthy of going to, which we have one luckily here. We have a few actually here. In Miami and the South Florida area. So I mean, but I appreciate what MJF is doing because he's bringing back a different part of pro wrestling.
He is.
He's telling stories. He's his matches are, again, it's craziness. Don't get me wrong. It's, can the tag team get a double clothesline? Which the double clothesline is like a mainstay in tag team wrestling, but they were the first tag team that couldn't hit a double clothesline. And then they finally hit it. Then you get the stupidest thing I've ever seen, which is one of the smartest things I've ever seen, a kangaroo kick.
Kangaroo kick, baby.
I mean, it's just
I don't have the kangaroo kick, just FYI. I have the
Bad Bunny shirt. No, I know. It looks like are you wearing that again today? You wearing it again?
No. I'm wearing the Bad Bunny shirt.
Oh, okay.
The LW shirt.
Yeah, so it's just, again, it's the different flavors of ice cream. And that's the one thing I did like about that pay-per-view. Whether it was long, long.
Was it, bro?
But you had a little bit of everything.
I mean, I will say
wrestling, you had the hardcore, you had and the same thing with NXT, which again, there was different flavors of ice cream on NXT, which I thought was refreshing a little bit, because the NXT kind of pay-per-views usually went with what you saw on the program. This one kind of went away from the TV show vibe, feel. This one felt like an actual event.
I tuned in for the NXT just for Becky Lynch and for Dominic. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I saw Carmelo lost, but that guy who's fighting Carmelo, I don't not like him. I don't find him entertaining at all. So that's why I didn't tune into that fight. Maybe he develops to be better now that he has the belt, but for me, it's like whatever. I don't even know his name. What is his name? I don't even know.
He's just a wrestler. He's like Butch. He's Butch.
Yeah, I don't know that guy.
I mean, no, that's what they wrestle over there. I mean, when he was with the UK, he's from the UK, NXT UK. When they did away with that, they kind of brought him all here. The wrestling over there is different. Wrestling over there is about joint manipulation. It's like what New Japan. If you go to New Japan and you watch those guys, a lot of time they beat the crap out of each other. It's a whole different style, and that's kind of the style that they come from, and so it's different. It's another taste of ice cream. That's like pistachio.
I will say this: the Zack Sabre fight versus Bryan Danielson delivered. That should have been like what he should have done last time when he fought against this guy.
Yeah, but he got hurt.
Obviously he got hurt, but that fight actually delivered. It was really good. And then obviously I think the one that kind of like did not help that much the pay-per-view was the Eddie Kingston versus the Shibata. I thought that was a little bit boring myself. I did not catch the Ricky Stark or Wheeler Yuta, so I don't know if that one went really well. I kind of dozed off.
My understanding on those two matches, the best thing was Moxley's announcing on the outside.
Wow. Well, now thank you. Let's go ahead and jump into something that we were not able to talk about last week, which was Jon Moxley actually getting injured on the Rey Fenix move.
Which actually messed up this pay-per-view, by the way.
Just so you know. It did. All right, so tell us what was supposed to happen at Grand Slam between Moxley and Rey Fenix.
Grand Slam, Moxley, my understanding, again, half of what you hear or half of what you see, nothing of what you hear. Josh Barnett was in the gorilla position. After the match was over, he was supposed to confront Jon Moxley.
Was it Josh Barnett?
Yeah, Josh Barnett, who ended up fighting Claudio at Wrestle Dream. But it was originally supposed to be Moxley. Moxley got hurt in the match with Phoenix. And apparently Phoenix got hurt on the same spot. I don't know where it happened. It was somewhere early in the match. I'm not going to lie to you. Somewhere early in the match, Moxley kind of gets knocked loopy. And he's fighting basically on his feet, and he's just kind of not really there. So he calls an audible and tells Phoenix, do your finish. And at that point, it looks like Phoenix drops him on his head. So that's where everybody thinks he got hurt. He was already out before that even happened. The referee slides in because he's a genius, and he goes, 1, 2. I know this ain't supposed to be the end, so I'm going to go and go. All
right, so here is my question to you. Your expertise. You are a wrestler. You were a wrestler, so you know this. Yeah. Did the referee do the right decision?
No.
So what? How does the referee know that something happened?
The performer's job is to kick out. If the referee does his job, 1, 2, 3, that's his job or her job. Their job is to count to 3. If he doesn't kick out, then he doesn't kick out. This happened before a while ago. I can't remember. And they changed the rules. It was at a WWE, I believe is in WWE. They changed the rules and told the refs, because the refs used to go 1, 2, and then they would slide the arm, like, oh, the kick out, and they would act like the 3 was coming down. That was the big thing. Somebody didn't kick out, and they did it, and it looked real silly. So they told the referees from now on, you do your count. If they don't kick out,
they lose.
That's on them.
So Rick Knox,
that is the way it should be. Because again, Moxley called the audible with Phoenix. The ref probably didn't know. But again, your job, count to 3, the match is over. Instead, now Moxley's got to take a second drop to his head, which apparently, again, at that point, everybody's thinking Phoenix dropped him on his head the first time.
He did.
So now you're doing another one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But he did not drop him on his head.
No, not the second time.
First time he didn't.
I thought he dropped it on his head because didn't you see his head hit the mat like that and it kind of bounced like. Well, he did. He did choke his chin, but still, he still was gonna feel it though.
No, you tuck your chin in. You're good. You're good.
So then why is Moxley injured?
It was before that. He was injured at the beginning of the match with a spot at the beginning of the match.
Oh, was it when he flipped? When Ray Phoenix came at the beginning and he flipped over?
Both were injured in the same spot, so maybe that was it. I don't know.
There was 3.
Watch it.
There was 3 different scenarios, and if you guys don't remember, and I'm sorry, this is 2 weeks ago. So what happened was when Ray Phoenix was supposed to fight Jon Moxley, all of a sudden Ray Phoenix comes from the ramp and he does a freaking flip right on Jon Moxley, and I'm like, holy snap. And Jon Moxley took it straight to the chin. Like he took it and his head hit the back of the mat. And I believe Phoenix got hurt. And he didn't even connect properly. He probably. And then there was another one. I don't remember because it was like I said, it was 2 weeks ago. And then obviously the last one was the spike that he did, kind of like the spike.
Yeah, which everybody thought he dropped him on his head. He didn't. And then he had to do a second one. So then everybody was really upset because they're like,
I remember now when Moxley was walking into the ring, he bangs himself against the camera. Do you remember that? That he was walking and goes, bah. So they were saying, there could have been 3 different instances when Moxley actually suffered a concussion. Yeah. When he banged himself against it. But obviously the camera situation was him. That was him just being an idiot. And then the Ray Phoenix flip, and then obviously the last move. But at the end of the day, this guy, the referee, what's his name? I wrote it down. Rick Knox. Rick Knox has made blunders before. And if you guys don't remember, it was back in the day when there were during the COVID days, and AEW was at Daly's place, and there was a fight. It was like a 3-on-3 fight, and it was the Young Bucks, and I think it was like it might have been. I don't think it was the people from the Dark Order. I think it was I don't remember.
At that time,
it wasn't the Inner Circle. No, it was the Young Bucks, and they were going and one that other guy. I don't remember his name. And there was the other guys were the old guy that he had feud with Orange Cassidy. Man, what's his name? I forgot. Anyways, long story short, never mind. If you go, I gotta try and Google it. But what ended up happening was one of the guys, the Young Bucks, they both climbed on the turnbuckles. One of them threw themselves and dropped a leg kick on his head and knocked him out.
No, that was the Dark Order. It was Reynolds. It was the Dark Order. They rolled him over to the side and they kept wrestling around.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So if you guys haven't seen that, and again, that was with Rick Knox. He was the referee, and he basically you see him literally laying on the damn mat, not doing anything. He just
started them to the side. They're kind of like pushing him with their foot, like roll to the side.
And not only that, but when they went to go tag him, you see one of the guys grab his arm and just pull him over, and then he tags it himself. He's like, "Okay, we're there."
John Silver, yeah,
that was crazy, man. That was crazy.
By the way, Rick Knox was not at Wrestle Dream.
Good, because he
or at the last AEW tapings either. So again, maybe they figured it out or whatever. But also that falls on whoever's in charge of the referees. The referees should know. Look, you do your job. You count to 3, done. You know what I'm saying? You count to 10 if they're outside the ring still, that's it. Whatever. If that changes up things, then that changes up things. But your job, your whole thing in this match is to look like you can hold order in the ring. That's a referee's job. And again, sometimes if you do a good enough heel job, you tag teams, you get the rest of the tension away, you can do stuff, and then of course, all that stuff. But you're there for the safety of the wrestlers. I mean, if your job is to count to 3, and I think Moxley called the audible, and Phoenix knew it, and then the ref did
you dropped the ball,
just dropped count to 2, and then going, because again, this is where sometimes I wish on the performance side, the refs don't know the finish.
Oh.
Refs don't know the finish. Your job is to count to 3, right? So if that was his job and he didn't know that, maybe in the back they said, hey, he's going to hit me with this finisher and I'm going to kick out. So now he hits the finisher. Knox is like, oh, this is the one he's going to kick out of. 1, 2, I know he's going to kick out. Oh, he didn't kick out. If he didn't know, it would have been 1, 2, 3. None of this would have been talked about.
That is interesting. I guess I wouldn't look at it like that. I would always assume that the referee should know who wins, just for the simple fact that if they need to know like who's gonna be pinned correctly and who is it, because even if there's a spot where
you have that issue, because Knox knows Moxley's supposed to win. That's why he didn't count the 3 count. Moxley called the audible on the thing. You can't be like, in the middle of the ring, you can't be like, stop, Ray Phoenix. Nah, I'm calling an audible. He's going to pin me right here. Count to 3. Okay, go. It doesn't happen that way.
But
if Knox didn't know anything that was going on, then he would have counted to 3 and this wouldn't be an issue.
I will say this though, like I guess whatever injury Ray Phoenix did suffer as well, it must have not been serious because he is fighting one of the Young Bucks today. He's fighting this guy.
Okay.
Nick Jackson. He's fighting Nick Jackson.
I hurt his back, man. There's times where when you land and you're up in the air, you're jumping like that stuff. You could just land on your tailbone and it'll feel like you're just done.
It just sucks.
Your tailbone the wrong way. You feel like your back tightens up and you're just like, oh, I can't move.
I mean, and it could be just like little things. Look at Adam Cole, how he injured himself as well.
I don't think he's that injured.
Really? You think it's all like part of the storyline?
He's part of the story.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. Okay, so then why you say that? I didn't think so. I thought he actually was injured, man. He was on crutches and everything.
He is the devil.
Wow, that would be good.
Attacked the other night. That
would be very, very good.
I'll show you why here in a minute.
That would be really slick by AEW if they actually do that. Do that.
Hold on a minute. Let me find this one picture and I'll show you why.
You're right. I completely forgot about the devil. Like, who is the guy behind the mask? Because it's definitely not MJF. Wow, that would be good.
And then there was one, and I didn't even put 2 and 2 together until kudos to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful.com, of course, because they kind of got like all these people that can kind of sit there and God, man, keep rolling, keep talking. I'll find it and then I'll show you what I'm talking about. But he said,
well, look, if they're saying that Adam Cole is the devil, so for you guys, again, we're going back 2 weeks because we didn't get a chance to do the show last week. On Dynamite, at the end in the back, they were beating up. Who were they beating up on? Jay White.
Jay White, yeah.
They were beating on Jay White, and everybody saw, the devil, the mask that supposedly.
Remember, Jay White interrupted Adam Cole. Adam Cole was leaving because Roderick needed him, and then that's when Jay White's music hit, and he came out and confronted, and they had their face-to-face.
Correct. So then everybody obviously knows that that's not MJF because of the simple fact that his character, although obviously he still wears it when he has to, that's not, MJF's character kind of now has become a babyface. So you don't expect him to go backstage and just beat up on Jay White like that. So that's why it's a little bit interesting. I never thought about it. That's clever if they go that far and they actually put Adam Cole. And I will tell you this, I am always so happy when I hear Roderick Strong scream out, Adam! I love that. Like that thing is so funny. Like
I sent you that one, right? Like they were like, I hope he screams out and for Edge's in like Adam and Edge's music hits.
I mean, it's funny how they developed his a character, you know, with him yelling and then the whole neck brace. That thing is so fun. I love it.
They're like neck strong.
And he actually fights. He takes off the neck brace, wrestles, and then he puts it back on. Like, and I will tell you this, even though, like I said, we're jumping up and down, but WWE, they did a phenomenal job with Pretty Deadly. Oh man, that one was so good too. Pretty Deadly, guys. If you didn't watch it, Pretty Deadly's little like injury of the guy, I forgot his name, but he injured his elbow and he's on a wheelchair, and they're going back and forth about, you know, him trying to practice how to swing the chair, how to tag. Man, they nailed that spot on SmackDown. It was so good, and I'm happy to see that they're doing that with Pretty Deadly, because at the same time, they're fun. Like, you could actually like enjoy their, like, they're kind of doing like similar to what Adam Cole and MJF is doing.
Yeah, except they were a tag team already.
Yeah, so I think AEW has a little bit of a competition with Pretty Deadly, but obviously Adam Cole and MJF are the bigger stars in the AEW world, while in the WWE world, Pretty Deadly is just, you know, an up and coming because they just came from NXT. So, but I really enjoyed both of them doing the exact same thing. That was hilarious, and I really enjoyed that part of WWE and their creativity, whether they bit off out of AEW or they just said, you know what, we're gonna roll with this as well. I thought that was genius. I thought that and I hope they keep doing it because it's clever. It's clever stuff. Sean, any luck? If not, I think we're gonna jump on because we've been on for like about an hour and like almost 15 minutes, so we got to do a top 5 because I know Dynamite starts at 8, so we want to make sure everybody's in.
When I find it, I'll bring it up.
All right, so what we're gonna do in the meantime, while Sean tries to do that, we're gonna go ahead and jump on to our top 5 no debating list. And ladies and gentlemen, this is where we're changing it up a little bit. Let's see if Sean can show the new list, the new look.
Yes, hold on a minute.
So we're doing something a little bit more different. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. You let me know what you think. The new top 5 no debating list look. We switched it up. I decided to go ahead and make it a little bit more catchy. Obviously, you have The Rock and John Cena on the left. And then we're paying some homage to Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson. And of course, Don Callis.
I found it.
You did? Okay, so well, hold on.
Real quick, I'm going to pull this down.
Yeah, pull it down and then bring and show the other one.
Now, I got to bring this on. Hold on a minute, sorry. I got to present it, and then I got to make it larger. Wait a minute. What's that? That's wrong thing.
You probably have to kick my sharing of the...
No. You're good. You're good.
Okay.
So, do you see it now?
Liz. Sound good?
See where the mask is?
Liz. Sound good? That sounds great.
Wow.
Sound good?
The mask behind Adam Cole in his locker?
Liz. Sound good?
And you know what? It looks like it could be Adam Cole.
Liz. Sound good?
Look at his shoulders.
That sounds great. Liz. Sound good?
I like it.
That sounds great. Liz. Sound good?
So
that sounds great.
There's something to think about.
I like it. I think that's creative. I think that's smart, and I love that mask.
And I apologize. That was actually a Drain Maker. Actually, it's an AEW fan that came up with that. So I apologize. I thought it was. I think Sean Arsap retweeted it to throw it out there. So that's where I got it from. Now I just found it.
Really cool. Really cool.
All right, now back to the regularly scheduled.
So we want to go and we want to, Jake Cargo, the next big star in the WWE world. And I came up with this idea, guys, is because, let me see, should I make it bigger? Do you guys see it? I think you guys can see it. It looks good. You can see it. Because I actually have my other screen.
You got a thumbs up, so we're good.
All right, perfect. All right, so I wanted to go ahead and do this list because I actually saw somebody on Twitter talk about this. and they were saying they were like throwing lists of all the fighters that Jay could go up against, and they mentioned one person, and I honestly fell in love with that dream fight, and that's why I said, you know what, me and Sean need to make our list of who we think Jay Cargill should fight.
Man, you're gonna get me again, man. Damn it.
Why? Because you didn't mute it?
No, I forgot somebody, the important one, and I have like 2 number ones.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're talking about the top 5. Oh, the cheating. Oh, you're bringing it back? The cheating? I love it. Because you always cheat. You always like to throw 2.
You know what? No, I won't even cheat this time.
For the price of 1. I love it. I love it. And who was the one who called you a cheater? No doubt. No doubt. I haven't seen No Doubt today, but he definitely called you.
No doubt.
So I'm going to start the list. My number 5 as who she should face is Charlotte Flair.
Wow, number 5, huh?
Yeah, I have her really low because I feel that Charlotte Flair, she still has a lot of mojo in her. I like her, but I think there's bigger women wrestlers out there that would showcase Jade Cargill's talent better than Charlotte Flair right now. I'm a little bit tired of seeing Charlotte Flair. I think Charlotte Flair, you can't jump so quickly to give her Charlotte Flair. I'm sorry, you can't jump and put Charlotte Flair versus Jay Cargill immediately. I think you would have to build it up a little bit, and I just don't know. I don't see it like, wow, what a big story between Charlotte Flair and Jay Cargill. I don't see it. Something in me is telling me, it's okay, but there's bigger fish out there that Jay Cargill should go up against, and you will see my list. You will see, because I have my top 2 are going to be really good. Go for it. Who do you have as number 5?
My number 5, I thought this would be pretty cool. Okay. Not saying necessarily a dream, because dream opponent might be wrong, but I would like to see the monster that is Jade Cargill go against Zelina Vega.
Oh, wow. But you're going to do that to Zelina? Is it because I'm wearing the LWO shirt?
That's what started it. Yes.
Oh, my God.
I would like to see, because again, the LWO is Rey Mysterio, right? The mighty man, the small man. Now we get the small woman against the giant. Almost like what happened with Rhea Ripley, but you can't put it in Puerto Rico, I guess, this time. But it'd be interesting.
Well, my number 4 is Bayley. And I put Bayley as the number 4 is because I think Bayley, I know Charlotte Flair took a couple of shots at Bayley this past week on SmackDown, but I think Bayley still has it in her to be, a good contender for Jade Cargill. She does have damage control, so they could kind of stick her in there with Io Sky, and obviously Dakota can get involved and stuff like that. I think she brings a little bit more than what Charlotte would. So that's the reason why I went with Bayley as my number 4.
My number 4 is Becky Lynch.
All right.
Just because I like to see the man take on Jade Cargill. I think it'd be very interesting. Kind of clash of styles in a way with the way Becky is, but ultimately I would like to see it. But again, it's not that high up. I had 3 at the top of the list that I'd like to see. That I really would like. Okay, I might pay money to go watch these 3 battle Jade Cargill.
Okay. And my number 3 is your number 4, and it's Becky Lynch. And the reason I have Becky Lynch as my number 3 is because Becky Lynch is currently the NXT champion. So it would make sense to kind of put Jade Cargill to go up against Becky Lynch because of the fact that she is part of the NXT world right now. Becky Lynch is popping. She's really, really well known out there. She's the man. My favorite wrestler in the women's division has always been Becky Lynch. I would love to see Becky Lynch versus Jade Cargill. My number 3, Becky Lynch.
My number 3 is your number 5, Charlotte Flair, the queen. Because again, she says, she's the measuring stick of the division. I would love to see Jade Cargill take on Charlotte Flair.
Not bad. My number 2.
Our number 2 and 1s are probably going to be the same, maybe switched order. I guarantee you.
I don't think so.
Right?
My number 2 is Mommy. It's Ripley. She's gonna be my number 2. And the reason I have Mommy as number 2 is obviously she's still the best when it comes to the women's division. She is back. Obviously, she helped Dom get back her his WWE
You said it right. Her North American title, yeah.
Wait, hold on a second. It's his North American title.
What did I tell you was going to happen with him? What did I tell you was going to happen with him? The one time he had to wrestle somebody by himself, what happened?
Okay, I get you.
We'll talk later. Go ahead.
I hold on. No. Now that you bringing it up, I gotta address it. I will tell you this. You're right. He did lose it, but there was issues in the Judgment Day overall, and let's not forget that it was this guy Senor Money in the Bank, who was supposed to have everything in check, and he didn't. He dropped the ball. So you can't go ahead and say that Dominic Mysterio dropped the ball. It was Senor Money in the Bank who dropped the ball because he was supposed to keep the team intact while Mommy was gone. Just saying. Number 2 for you.
The Eradicator, the Raw Women's Champion, Rhea Ripley.
Okay. All right.
All the reasons you said.
All right.
Are you kidding me, Josh? Rhea Ripley overrated or Dom overrated?
No, the Dom is not overrated. He is probably the most hated heel right now in WWE, possibly right now.
All right, here we go. Let's have matching number 1s.
All right, let's see. Let's see if you got the same one. My number 1 is Io Sky. Nope. Negative. My number 1 is Bianca Belair. And if you have Bianca Belair, I see you smiling. Can you? I saw this. I spelled Bianca wrong. But man, I know we haven't seen Bianca Belair, but it's a dream match, man. Like, you got these 2 powerhouse women going at it. And you know what? I'm not going to lie to you, man. I think it's awesome for, the African-American community. You got two black girls actually going out there and being stars in the WWE world. I think that's awesome. And I really, really would love to see both of them go at it. I hope they wrestle either in Survivor Series or WrestleMania, probably WrestleMania. I know Bianca's not the champion right now, but she's just, she has that strength, and Jade Cargill's all about the strength. Like, that's a powerhouse main event for WrestleMania, in my opinion.
My number 1 is the hair swinging Bianca Belair.
Ah, damn.
And I thought night 1 of WrestleMania, it would be Bianca Belair versus Jade Cargill, and I'm here for it, man. My top 3, I would pay to watch Jade Cargill versus any of them. Becky, depending on how they do the build-up, I could be interested in that as well. But the other 3, the top 3, I feel like them with Jade's skill set and their skill set, it could be something special.
Man, it's just Bianca's so good and Jade Cargill. But let me ask you this. I'm a little bit surprised about your list. You want to know why? Because you always said in AEW that, they were feeding her like, the kind of like the jabbers of the women's division. Yep. And now you want to feed her straight to like the powerhouse. You got Bianca, Rita,
right away. But these are the 5 that I would like to see. I mean, give her Zelina Vega at the beginning if you want to do it that way. And you can work up my list. But wow. I mean, ultimately, the thing is this, okay? The one thing that is different right now is this. She's at the PC every day working on her craft. The problem with AEW was if you didn't live in Atlanta and you weren't working out at the Nightmare Factory, you were wrestling every Wednesday. You're wrestling every Saturday, depending on what you're doing. You're wrestling once a week. That's not enough to keep to keep it going. Especially, look, Jade has the skill. I've said from the beginning, she's money. The one thing AEW couldn't do, and they didn't do, which kudos to Tony Khan, is pull the Goldberg thing with her. You know, I mean, unfortunately for them, once she lost the title, her contract was almost up. So, but she did come back and do, you know, the honors to Chris Statlander again there. But also Chris Statlander extended some things too, because Statlander was originally supposed to be the one to beat her, which is why she kept the title for so long. Would it have been different in AEW if she wasn't strapped down with the TBS title? Would she have went on to fight others? Because I think they did it right. Because you can't just, you know, your Britt Bakers, your you know, your others like there. You got to look. I love Britt Baker and everything else, but sometimes I feel like when she's in the ring, it's about Britt Baker. You know what I'm saying? Like, is she going to be there to make sure? And she's gotten better. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying every time now. And maybe it was just because of the heel persona, it kind of rubbed off in the ring that way. But it felt like she was out there to make sure Britt Baker looked good. Not caring about, you get yours because I'm going to get mine. That's how it felt. You know, and again, not saying 100%, that's 100% what was going on. But that was my worry with Jade Cargill. You get in the ring, and it happened to Bill Goldberg on his way up. William Regal was one of them. William Regal got in there at Goldberg, took him down. Goldberg didn't know what the hell to do until Regal worked him back up and told him what to do. But Regal let him know right away, like, hey, I can take you down whenever I want to. I'm a shoot fighter. We're in a fight and you're going to punch me in the face. It might change differently. But in here, I can stop you rather quickly and take you down. You know, and unfortunately, that's what happens a lot of times, man. And not as much these days. But back in the old days, it's about protecting your character, man. Like that's why I could not believe the whole Goldberg worked out the way it did with Hugh Morris, William Regal. I mean, all these guys doing 45-second jobs of this guy that were going up the card. And then ultimately you're going down and you get beaten 45 seconds.
Well, either way, man, we have a hell of a card, a hell of a list for Jade Cargill to go ahead and make a name for herself even more than what she is already known for. So I'm excited. I hope they don't feed her Zelina Vega because she is part of the LWO, and the LWO still gets kind of like stuck in the mud, but I think it's still good.
I just like the story, you know, when Rey Mysterio is going for the title and it's Rey Mysterio. I figured that would be the female version of that, Zelina Vega and Bianca Belair. I think it could be a good story. I mean, again, I'm not saying for 12 weeks, but leading up to a pay-per-view, it could get pretty interesting.
I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, man. I honestly feel that Tiffany Stratton should be moved up to the main roster.
Yeah, no, but again, it really depends on how they want to work NXT. Is it going to be a third brand? You can't keep moving. You can't build and then move them as soon as they get a name up to the main roster if you want NXT to stay a brand. You got to start leaving some people down there because Becky and them can't stay there forever, or can they?
True.
Yeah, but I mean,
we didn't.
Right? No, it's right, but I just, man, there's something about Raquel, man, that I
like Raquel more as a tag team, and I saw Liv was working out, making sure she actually gets back in shape. I know she's coming off an injury, so I like her better with Liv as a tag team, women's tag, like the women's champs. I like that about her.
I mean, I like her at points, but then I just kind of lose.
You want to know why, Josh? Because let's not forget, what did that Rhea Ripley Raquel fight bring to the table? That was probably the worst fight of that card, and it was disappointing, man. And I will give you this: Io Sky did her thing with Bianca Belair, and that elevated Io Sky.
Yeah. Now, also, the one thing too is that it's almost like, and I hate to do this to Raquel. It's like when you have two big guys going at it. It's just a bad contrast in styles. She's better working the Io Skies because then she becomes a base for them to do their moves and things like that. It's harder when it's Rhea versus Raquel because it's like two bulls in a china shop.
All right.
and they're just beating the crap out of each other.
So then let me ask you this. What did you think about that Io Sky Oscar fight? Did you like that fight or did you find it not entertaining?
It had its points. It had its parts. I'm not going to
wasn't-
sit here and say
It wasn't
blew
that
me
great, man.
away.
Yeah, it didn't blow me away, man.
No, it didn't blow me away, but it had its spots. And again, but I feel like, and again, it's hard, man, because I feel like, when Edge says I'm free,
Mm-hmm.
you're not wrestling that WWE way anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like that, because again, it's not like in AEW. The producers tell you pretty much, you work the match out with the producer in the ring. You know exactly what's going to happen in the match. It's not like AEW where you're like, hey, I'm going to do this, and the coach is like, okay, I wouldn't, but if you want to do it, okay. No, they're telling you this, because unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, is WWE builds up. Hopefully, is their thing is first match gets us started, good pace. Second match, and as it goes up the card, it should elevate to the end, to the main event, and then boom, you have your big main event and the payoff. That's kind of how they do their matches. So in that instance, unfortunately, depending on where you fall on the card, you have to change your style a little bit, because the third match isn't going to go out there and, like in AEW, the first match might be the best match on the card because those guys are out there kind of working however they want to work. They're free to do whatever. But then also what happens there is you have other cards on the match that can't do that because those guys aren't that athletic or whatever, and that kind of brings down those matches later on in the card. So,
I mean, for me, I wasn't entertaining that match. I thought that match could have been better. The Raquel Rhea Ripley match, that wasn't entertaining when they fought. So I just feel that there's just some wrestlers that click with other wrestlers, and there's just some that don't click. And I honestly wanted to see how Io and Asuka were gonna click. I don't think it worked out. I thought it kind of was lame. I honestly thought that should be the first and last time they actually do it. I know that this time around they put Charlotte Flair for Fastlane, which we should have our picks because obviously this Saturday is Fastlane. So we will be going ahead and making our picks for Fastlane. But I hope by them adding Charlotte Flair into that women's championship match, we will get something better. Like, yes, Charlotte Flair, what I like Charlotte Flair. I don't, because I think she just likes to like her drag so much. Like she likes to, kind of like say, yo, I'm the best and there's nobody who's going to beat me. That upsets me. Yeah, I know, and that kind of, it reminds me of like that ego of like Floyd Mayweather, where I'm the best and nobody's gonna beat me. I just don't like that. That's why I'm already tired of Charlotte Flair. I don't get that same vibe from Bianca. I don't get that same vibe from Becky Lynch. I don't get that same vibe from Io. I like Io's a lot. I think Io's gonna do really well. I hope she wins that match. But
that's not their character, though. It's the same thing. I gotta talk about that. It's just
true.
The way, she's a queen from the Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina.
No, and they've given her how many damn belts? Like she's like the 13-time belt or whatever, 13-time champion or something. She's always.
That's why I think they put the third person in the match so that Asuka gets pinned by Charlotte, and
I hope no. Well, I hope that
doesn't look bad.
All right. Well, do you want to do our Fastlane picks?
Let's go through them real quick because I want to get to some other stuff in WWE that I want to get off my back.
Okay, no. Let's do the WWE and then we'll leave the Fastlane for last. So what do you want to?
So here's what happened in WWE, and this is funny because this changed the card at WWE NXT.
Okay.
This goes to show you that the people in Titan Towers in Stamford, Connecticut, no clue what's going on with their programs. Okay? WWE NXT No Mercy. Do you know who Dom was supposed to face?
Yes, he was supposed to face this guy who got released.
Mustafa Ali.
Mustafa Ali
was supposed to win the North American title.
Lord.
Mustafa Ali was released 3 weeks before that.
Correct.
And if you remember, Shawn Michaels came out and was like, well, I wish we would have known that because we had plans for Mustafa Ali leading into 2024. And again, Mustafa Ali has asked for his release before, So ultimately, I think the way it came down was he had asked for his release before, and the tag team that was with Schism, I can't remember their names, they had asked for their release. And then when the time came for cuts, I think they just, see you guys later. But NXT had no idea. So what they had to do was scramble to throw somebody else in there, which ended up being Trick Williams. And then there's some back and forth about whether Dom was really supposed to lose the title to Trick Williams or not.
But wait. I like the fact that Trick Williams won.
Oh no, I liked it. I liked the whole thing because for two reasons. One, I think it helped the Trick Williams Carmelo Hayes. One. Two, I think it also in the background, after looking at it again, helps Dom and Judgment Day as well. Both of them.
How? How does it help Dom? How does it help Dom?
What?
How does it help Dom?
Because again, Dom's character is he's mommy's bitch. He can't do nothing. He had nobody and he got beat. He was competitive and he took the knee to the belt. He tried to cheat to win. Trick caught him with the knee to the belt and got the pin. Then all of a sudden, all of Judgment Day is there on Tuesday night.
And it went.
Dom gets the belt back, helping bring the Judgment Day supposedly back together again, if you look at it a little bit. But then at the same time, you also, Trick Williams told Carmelo Hayes, I'm going to do this on my own. You don't need to be here. Carmelo Hayes leaves. That's when we found out about the whole John Cena and all that stuff. But now you have thrown that wrinkle in there now for Trick's going to, ultimately it's going to come down to Trick and Carmelo. And there might even be a three-way with Trick, Carmelo, and Ila as the championship for the championship, ultimately.
Well, look,
I just think ultimately it helped both of those stories. It progressed them a little bit. I'm not saying it made them better or anything else, but at least it stayed inside a realm of a story for both competitors to grow from.
I personally feel that Dom was going to win either way. That's what I thought, with or without Rhea Ripley back. I
told you from the beginning. What did I tell you? He will not win without the Judgment Day.
He will win. He has won before. I don't.
He is the little submissive little bitch to mommy, dude.
I understand that, but I just feel that he, little by little, will outgrow the Judgment Day, but he'll always be with Rhea Ripley. And I think that's what his character is built on. Him and Rhea Ripley, not so much the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day is there. The Judgment Day will be there, but look how they're, they put him, JD McDonald in there, the whole back and forth with Finn, and Senor Money in the Bank, and now they got to defend the belts at Fastlane. I wouldn't be surprised if they lose the belts at Fastlane. So that goes to show you that this victory on Saturday, was for Trick Williams. And I was happy that he won. I honestly thought his character gained more popularity, him having to fight Dom twice. I thought it made perfect sense. I had no
gained popularity. He's pretty popular, man. I mean, they sing him to the ring, So.
But everybody knows Trick Williams because of Carmelo Hayes. You don't know Trick Williams by himself.
No, that's the story. Again, that's part of the story.
I understand that. That's part of the story. But your push, again, you're going to try to find out who is the person you can actually move up to the next level and be like, oh, wow, this guy can hang and this guy can do it on his own. We already know that Carmelo Hayes can do it on his own. We didn't know that about Trick Williams. Now we know that Trick Williams has it in him. And I think they're going to start pushing him even more. And as it was leading up to No Mercy, he was saying it, it's time for me to bounce. It's time for me to do my own thing. It's time for me to be a champion. I like that. And they were giving him that opportunity. They were giving him that, build up. People were tuning in. They're like, okay, Trick Williams, we all know him with Carmelo Hayes, but now he's doing his own thing, and I like it, and I think it benefited him because personally, myself, I'm gonna start tuning into him more often. I always thought he was Carmelo Hayes' kind of Robin, while Carmelo Hayes is Batman. That's the way I looked at it.
No.
Yeah. It was always like that. Like it was always
Yeah,
Carmelo
he
Hayes,
might be
and
portrayed
then
that way, but I've watched him before he became, the Trick Williams. I knew what he can do. It was just a matter of time to when they allowed him to, become a focus on the NXT programming. Because ultimately, I think what's going to happen, if you want to follow me down this path, Carmelo ultimately goes to SmackDown, I think is where they're at with Lashley and the Street Profits. I think he'll become a new member of that group. He'll become the focal point of that group with Lashley, because I think Lashley's going to start kind of stepping away from the ring more and being that MVP type role.
I don't see him going that route. I actually see him going to the main roster, but I honestly feel that he's probably not going to make that move until they have to do the draft all over again. And I think that's when they'll eventually.
Well, actually, let me rephrase this. I think that will happen if they decide that NXT is not going to be a brand. I think if NXT stays a brand and becomes a brand, I think you would be dumb to move Carmelo Hayes away from that, because I think Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, the top of that roster right now is pretty good. You throw a couple bigger names, of course, from Raw or SmackDown on there, but Braun Breaker's pretty damn, pretty good name. Swerve. Trick Williams, Carmelo Hayes, Dragunov, I don't want to say Baron because Corbin and them have all been. I'm trying to think of all the guys that haven't been up on the main roster. And then if you look at the women's division, Roxanne, Tiffany Stratton, who you pointed out, trying to stay away from Becky because that's I consider her, technically Raw or SmackDown. But I think ultimately they have enough there to where they could push it a little bit more and start, making that a brand. But again, you have to be careful on who you're moving around at the same time, because again, can you have, Cena show up? Yes, you can have all those special appearances here and there, but your focus needs to be, and I think they do a good job. They've done a better job of it, is keeping your focus as, Carmelo, Braun Breaker, as you said, Trick Williams with this Saturday, and things like that. They're kind of, it feels like they're positioning to move pieces, and I think they're doing it, admirably well.
Who won out of the girls' tournament? Because I know Lola Vice
It just started yesterday. It just started. The first match was yesterday.
Did Lola Vice fight yesterday?
Oh, not yet. No. It was Carter. Is there? It was the
JC Jane fought last night, right?
JC Jane fought last night. Yes.
And she won. I think it was her. She was the one who won. But again, I don't know JC Jane that well. And you know who also is a big roster in NXT? The girl from the Chase U. Like she left Chase U now.
Yeah, Thea.
Yeah, her. And I don't know.
Teams up with JC Jane, I believe. Teams up with JC Jane.
Is it JC Jane that they're doing? Because I know they were doing the little montage of her going to like the store and changing her look and all that stuff. I don't like that girl. I don't know why. Something about that girl I don't like. I don't like her character, man. I was like, I hope they changed
it a little bit. She's got a little edgier side now. She's not that little like, hey, chase you.
But
I will cheerleader anymore.
I will tell you something. Hey, man, we never talk about NXT, and now look, we're talking about NXT. So that goes to show you that WWE is doing a good job.
What they're trying to do, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then that also ups, again. I'm sure USA didn't pay a lot for the TV rights for NXT the first go around. You know what I'm saying? Like they're like, hey, as a package deal, we're going to give you, because again, you have to show that the show's going to work. So the other thing I want to talk about was, and we kind of talked about it, the NXT pay-per-view hurting the Collision ratings, which we talked about earlier. Jey Uso returning back to SmackDown. We sent him to Raw because he can main event on his own. We're going to bring him to SmackDown this week with Cody Rhodes and the Judgment Day. A big SmackDown going on leading into the pay-per-view.
Now, do you think that's a right idea to bring
No.
him back to SmackDown? I didn't think so either, man. You're
trying so hard to keep them separate. I just feel like, what are you going to do? You're going to have him, because to me, if he's there, Solo and Jimmy should be jumping him and beating his ass.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I mean, like, there's got to be something there. And then do you want to rehash? It almost feels like they're throwing them on there so they can, hey, don't forget about the bloodline angle. Don't forget the bloodline angle. Here we go. Bloodline angle. I just feel it's kind of rushed. It's like, hey, bam, like, wow. Then LA Knight signs on to be John Cena's tag team partner.
We spoke about that a little bit earlier.
Rub, and we talked about that a little bit earlier on. And what's funny is he was supposed to do that the week before.
Okay.
He got a little thing called COVID.
Yes, he did. He did get COVID. Yes.
So then AJ Styles just got, squashed, and then Cena got left laying on the table. And then this week he comes out and.
Well, look, I'm happy that he decided to sign the contract and he's not with John Cena. But like I said, I hope they do go up against each other now, and you let the fans choose who they prefer, John Cena versus LA Knight. I think that would be good, man. And I'm telling you, the fans are gonna go with LA Knight. John Cena is good.
Cena's gonna get the Cena sucks, and then they're gonna get LA Knight.
Yeah,
Cena sucks. LA Knight.
Of course.
Sucks. LA Knight.
And it's gonna blow up LA Knight to move on. And I think it's perfect for LA Knight because he's the main attraction right now in SmackDown. I SmackDown.
I don't know that he needs to fight Cena. Like Cena's leaving at the end of November. I mean,
that's the reason why. Look at Austin Theory. Austin Theory fought John Cena, and
yeah, but I mean that was leading up because of all the hoopla about the U.S. title and all that, and John Cena and the U.S. There was a backstory. I just don't know how quick you can do a backstory and push this forward to where, and then this is how dumb wrestling fans are. What happens if you do this? You allow them to choose a side, and these dumbasses choose John Cena.
They're not gonna choose John Cena, man.
Well, what happens if they do?
It's okay.
If they do, then what happens?
You turn LA Knight into a heel, and then you put LA Knight versus Cody Rhodes. You get so many options, man. I'm telling you, you got so many.
The wrestling fans will be like, I know what you're trying to do, so I'm gonna go opposite.
Dude,
Cena's the man.
They go with Cena. You know what? LA Knight beats John Cena. Everybody turns on LA Knight, and now LA Knight goes up against Cody. How about that?
Now we'll have to see. So if you got any questions, let's line them up for us.
Wait, hold on. I got a quick question.
Oh, okay.
You mentioned about the headquarters not knowing the storylines. Oh, that was the whole LA Knight. The Mustafa Ali. Okay, cool.
Because the story came out that he was supposed to.
Oh, but wait, but hold on. We haven't spoken about who they let go because we didn't know about this. Remember, So guys, I had told Sean, I was like, Sean, let's go on and see, and let's do a sporadic live stream. And we were gonna do it, but something came up and damn it, we were never doing it because they were dropping like flies. Everybody was
it was every 5 minutes. There was somebody else.
Everybody. I kept sending it to Sean. I was like, look,
I was sending back to you some and
it was so funny. So Matt Riddle, that's another big name. Yeah. Now, do you think Matt Riddle is gonna sign with AEW? I don't think he is. Think he is.
Everything I've heard since his release tells me I don't know if AEW wants him.
No, he doesn't. I don't.
It just seems like that's just is there that payoff there for you? know what I'm saying? I just don't know, man. Because then you give him that. I mean, he just opened a cannabis company, by the way. He just got his own strain of cannabis.
He's putting a Ricky Williams
and stuff there. Yeah. So I don't know if the headache is the risk worth the reward in that case. Yeah. Because I'm not saying Riddle's not good or anything, but does he move the needle enough to where the headache is worth it?
But you know who was coming back, right? And what was the faction? RK Bro.
Yeah.
And that did move the needle.
But see, here's the one thing though with the RK Bro. Riddle needed Orton more than Orton needs Riddle. All Orton's got to do is walk out and do this, and the people are going to go, you're back.
And he's about to come back, so that's gonna be a big.
I mean, you can
boost
only
for
burn
WWE.
so many bridges and
Well, the thing about
so many chances with everything that Riddle did, and then I think the final thing was, whatever. I don't know what the whole situation was at the airport, but he said the cop sexually assaulted him.
Wait, that wasn't the last thing.
Intoxicated and everything else, and then he no-showed or he didn't show up for an event. And
all right, did you see the video of him? I guess so. When you're waiting in for the plane to the person who calls out and says, "Hey, rows 1 through 9, come on in." I guess he knew Matt Riddle, so there's a video out there. I don't know if you've seen it, where the guy hands Matt Riddle that mic, that mic, that little walkie or whatever. I guess it looks like a walkie-talkie or a microphone, whatever. And then Matt Riddle starts talking on it out loud, and he is just making a mockery out loud for everybody to hear it around that area of the airport. And the guy is intoxicated. The guy is falling down. It looks so bad. What's up, No Doubt? It looked really bad. And then obviously the last thing was the whole situation with the cops being at the airport. So I could only just imagine he just too much of a problem. And I also did read that WWE gave him so many chances. He
had went to rehab.
There's so many things about him. I mean, remember there was photos of him nude. There was actual photos of him coming out nude.
There's only so many, like, okay, buddy, we can only.
And then you got Mustafa.
Again, you're not John Cena. You're not, Randy Orton. You're not even you're not Edge. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not that person that's going to be like, well, do we really need him? And then I don't know what he was being paid, but again, you get, you cut that off your books, easy cut.
So then now we have the people who left, who got released from WWE, and of course, in that list was obviously Mustafa Ali. We spoke about him. We had Shelton Benjamin, who I did hear that AEW is interested in him
as a producer.
Only as a producer? I thought they want him as a wrestler too.
As a producer, possibly more, but they definitely want him there as a producer to work with the younger talent.
Our boy Rick Boogs. How can you release Rick Boogs? I was so mad when that happened.
Yeah, but I mean, Shinsuke's a heel now, so that Shinsuke's killed his career. Shinsuke killed Boog's career.
Elias, come on, man.
Yeah, but Elias, dude, again,
is Ezekiel still hired?
Huh?
Is Ezekiel still with
WWE?
No,
he came out on a podcast and admitted that he was Ezekiel.
How
Kevin Owens was right this whole time. Kevin Owens was right.
God damn it. How can you do that and come out and say that his brother was never his brother? It was just him.
He was Ezekiel. He's like, I was what? This is all new to me.
What about this guy, Riddick Moss? He also got released.
So did his wife. So I think that was a couple, done. But the one thing about Riddick Moss is I think he's gonna land somewhere else. I think he's probably gonna go Impact. I don't know if he does AEW. I think him and his wife go like Impact, something like that, and they start making a name for themselves there, and then maybe the NWA. I think you'll start hearing that name a little bit more because the one guy that he kind of reminds me of is Matt Cardona. Riddick Moss is very, crafty like that, and I feel like he's going to try to do the Matt Cardona way.
Mm-hmm. Well,
what Drew McIntyre did. And when he became Drew Galloway and he made himself, bigger than, same thing with Cody too. I mean, I guess in a way, Cody reinvented himself and then got more money to get back to WWE. The same thing Drew McIntyre did. So ultimately, I think that's what these guys are trying to do.
The other one that I was actually really happy that they got, well, let me rephrase that. I'm never happy that somebody.
Yeah, way to go. I'm happy somebody lost their livelihood.
I'm not happy that they got released, but I just never bought into their characters. Was those Max male models, those two guys, Mansoor.
Why do you not love the comedy stuff, bro?
Those guys, no,
God, dude, they were given to be male models, and to me, those guys were delivering, man.
Are you serious? You actually like them?
On the live shows, people were going bananas for those guys.
No, they weren't. You're being sarcastic. Stop being sarcastic.
I'm not being sarcastic. It was documented. The maximum male models were getting over because they're feuding with Alpha Academy. So it was the shoosh, and then they were doing something. Dude,
The
they
male
had so
model,
much good stuff, bro.
the male models left. They didn't do well once the girl left, and she went to when she started going with Alpha Academy. That's when the male model started going down the drain, and nobody
They
cared
were
about
still
them.
doing live shows. They weren't using them on TV.
Oh,
They were still doing the live shows.
well, there was another.
You can only take, shit and shine it so much. I mean, that's all you can do, bro. You got this is what we want to do with you. Okay. We want to make you a bull. Okay. We want to make you a matador. Okay. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Well, one that I was very disappointed that they let go was my boy Top Dollar, baby. How are they gonna?
I was mad.
Because guys, if you don't know, Top Dollar used to be a Miami Dolphin. So I'm a little disappointed that they let go of Top Dollar. I like Top Dollar. And Shanky was another one. That Shanky, you
Well, you know what sucks about that? They used him on the India card and then they fired him the next day. How about that?
Typical
apples.
Typical
WWE.
But then, of course, the one and only, the one we spoke about, the one we know will make his way over to AEW. Mark my words, it's the man Dolph Ziggler. Gonna be making his way. He's the next big star to make his way over to the AEW world.
I wouldn't be surprised if Dolph Ziggler ends up back in WWE.
I heard some stuff that they were thinking about it and all that stuff, but he will be going back. He would not be going back to WWE. He will be an AEW superstar, sir. AEW.
No doubt they didn't fly him there. He lives there, and they hadn't used him, so he was home. They did the tour of India. They did a show in India. I'm sorry. They put him on the show. They let him wrestle, and then they canned him afterwards. They didn't fly him and leave him there. They didn't leave him on the tarp in India.
Some other notables. I don't know if I got this right. Dabakato. That guy.
Yeah, man. Dabakato, buddy.
Dana Brooke, another one.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a surprise, but I mean,
Quincy Elliott.
That was another one. He got hurt and then just never really got on NXT. He came on like when he first was introduced to House of Fire. I thought he was going to be good. He got injured and then just never resurfaced.
Julissa Leon.
Yeah, I'm not sure who that was.
She probably was an NXT girl. Kevin Ventura Cortez. I have no idea who that was.
NXT.
Eichmann Jiro.
That's NXT. That was the Japanese gentleman in NXT that used to come out with the pink dress coat type thing and neon, and I don't know how to explain it.
Well, I see a photo of him. It shows like he has like some yellow type of jacket, but
yeah, it's yellow jacket. And then when he opens it up, it's like flannel or something.
And I'm just looking at the ones that are randomly here. Brooklyn Barlow is another one who got released. Bryson Montana got released. Matt Riddle was the other one that got released. I think I got everybody who got released. Very unfortunate. I hope they all find their way over to some other type of wrestling organization, or they decide to change their career and do something better and they succeed. So I hope the best for all those who unfortunately lost their job to this whole Endeavor situation, right? That's the reason why they had to clean house. They're like, "Yo, we're done with this."
Yeah, but also it happens every time. It happens that there's like 3 times a year, right after WrestleMania, right after like July and things like that, where they clean house.
And of course, Emma and what was the girl's name? Elijah, I think that was.
Yeah,
Aaliyah. There you go. Aaliyah.
Yeah, but she hasn't been around in a while. They kept her home for a year, paying her, and then now they let her go. Never brought her in for TV, nothing for a full year.
For me, it was Rick Boogs. That one hurt. That one and Top Dollar. Those two were. I thought Top Dollar. Hopefully, hey, Top Dollar. If you're back in Miami, because I know he lives down here in Miami. CCW. I thought Top Dollar in CCW a while back, so I hope he makes his way back.
He's done some shows there. He was at Inter Miami a lot too. He goes to the Inter Miami games.
Yeah. He actually on if you guys tune in on the Fish Tank, he was actually a guest on the Fish Tank, and he pretty much broke down his whole story of his whole like career, and how he made his way over to the wrestling world. So that was pretty cool.
3 minutes.
All right, so last thing, Fastlane. You want to go with our picks?
Yeah, let's do it. And Louis, I do know, but again, we're on the Big O Radio Show YouTube channel, so that's one of the things that I know. I know with the wrestling show, it's more sports talk here, so we kind of get buried in the algorithm, but we have a wider audience, and Big O's audience has kind of helped us out. And actually, Frankie Fresco is part of that audience, and me and him have formed a dynamic duo.
Absolutely. I mean, the other day I got, was it yesterday? I think yesterday was when I got the blind ass fan alert. So I got it twice.
Now you got stupid chat too.
All right, who we got? What are the first matches?
Oh, you want me to call them out?
I could do it. I have it pulled up. All right, so the first one I got here, and I'm in no particular order. LWO, Rey Mysterio, Santos Escobar, Joaquin, or Cruz de la Toro. I guess one of those two guys is gonna fight. They're going up against Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford going the heel type of character. Now, who do you got?
It's got to be Lashley and the Street Profits, right? If you're putting them in to this, they've got to win. I mean, I think that's where the Del Toro or the other guy. It's not going to be Mysterio or Santos getting pinned. By the way, it's going to be the other one.
Yeah, it doesn't specifically say which one of them two,
yeah,
but
I got to flip the coin to see who's gonna.
I'm wearing the LW shirt.
I tell you now, Bad Bunny ain't gonna be there, buddy.
I'm wearing the LW shirt. So what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna hate. I know I'm probably gonna be wrong, but I'm gonna go with LWO. That's the reason why I wore this shirt, because I am rooting for LWO to beat Bobby Lashley and Street Profits. It probably won't happen, but I'm not gonna do my Latino wrong. So LWO in my book. Undisputed Tag Team Championship, Judgment Day. Damian Priest and Finn Balor versus Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. Who do you got?
Man, I feel like Cody and Jay win this for some reason, and it starts a rift in the Judgment Day. But because I feel that way, I think Judgment Day is going to end up winning it somehow.
I have the Judgment Day. I don't think Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso can be a good tag team, and that's the only reason why. I hope they don't
put the titles on them, but I just feel like it's like the only thing I can think, only other thing I can try to figure out is they have somebody come out and either attack Cody to start a feud or Jay to start a feud, and then they take advantage of the 2-on-1 or something.
I think there's just too much Judgment Day with JD McDonough.
I can tell you now, there's going to be no clean pin in this match.
Exactly.
It's going to be something.
So
we got to go. We got 1 minute. 1 minute.
All right. Next, we got Io Sky, Asuka, and Charlotte Flair for the Women's Championship. I'll go ahead. I'm going to pick Io Sky. I think she still retains the belt.
The Charlotte Flair wins the title and starts the feud with Jade Cargill.
Yeah, that's crazy. Next, we have the World Heavyweight Championship. Seth freaking Rollins against Shinsuke Nakamura. One of the most boring feuds I've ever seen in WWE. Seth Rollins wins.
This is a last man standing match, right?
That is correct, sir.
This is where Senior Money in the Bank cashes in. One of these pay-per-views is going to happen.
I hope he does, because that Shinsuke Seth Rollins feud is so boring. Last but not least, the only reason why I will be watching mostly this pay-per-view is my boy LA Knight and John Cena going against Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso, the Bloodline. Who do you got?
Solo and Jimmy. A special appearance by Roman Reigns at the end to cost, and then John Cena will take on Roman Reigns.
Wow. You think they're going to go that far?
That's when John Cena, because what will happen is this. I would say LA Knight, but I think something's going to happen in the Roman Reigns John Cena feud that LA Knight steps into that light, and then that'll be the feud for Roman heading forward.
All right, so I got some inside scoop.
Oh boy.
First to go ahead and announce it. Nobody knows this. Inside scoop. I was informed that Jimmy Uso was in Pensacola, Florida yesterday. Because of Jimmy Uso being in Pensacola, he was supposedly also with Naomi or Trinity Fatu. I say he's going to be rusty. I say he's not going to be ready. I know it's only Tuesday. I
also know who's in Pensacola, right?
Yes, I know who's in Pensacola. But my information is Jimmy Uso. It's going to be rusty. He's not going to be able to handle LA Knight. And John Cena and my boy LA Knight, will win this match. I'm going to be so proud of LA Knight. It's about time. Too big of a heel for him to take that loss.
All right, we're 2 minutes in. AEW Dynamite is on your TVs. Go to it now.
Please.
Thank you all for tuning in. We'll talk to you hopefully Tuesday. Follow us on social media. I'm at Sean_Stanley11. He is at Fresco Music. Until Tuesday. So long from the sun, shine, stay.